Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? I am so excited for this video because we are going to be duping a very hyped quad from a very hyped brand. This is the Pat McGrath Labs Nocturnal Nirvana quad. It's a really beautiful little colorful quad with a gold, blue, purple, and green, and I actually didn't purchase this myself. It was a borrow from my friend Karen Harris. She loves Pat McGrath's palettes. She has, I'm pretty sure, every single one. So she let me borrow this one just to try out and specifically to dupe for y'all. And this video is in collaboration with one of my very good friends here on YouTube, Annette's Makeup Corner. She's also going to be duping a Pat McGrath palette. It's the Decadence palette. It's one of the larger ones. She duped it out with a bunch of single shadows. So if you want to see more content like this, definitely check out her video and just her channel in general. I feel like Annette is a really cool, sweet person, and I just love her content. She always looks at eyeshadow palettes and does the most interesting combinations that you wouldn't think of. Has really cool eye shapes, and she just has so much fun with makeup. That's what it's all about for her. So if you've not checked out Annette, please do go ahead and check her out, subscribe to her, tell her I sent you, and if you're coming over from Annette's channel, I'm so happy to have you here. My name is Amy, and I do a lot of indie focused content. That's what you can expect to see here. So now we have one last thing to say before we jump into the dupes. Is just a quick disclaimer. I don't do disclaimers that often, but I know people stan Pat McGrath, and I understand why. I think she's an amazing woman. She's so inspirational, but her products are quite expensive, and I'm gonna give my honest opinion as always, so I hope no one takes offense to that. But let's go ahead and jump on in. Here's the Pat McGrath quad, and here's my little quad that I did. I feel like they look super similar. This is just a little Makeup Geek palette I got on sale for 50 cents. Not kidding, it was such a good deal. But I went through my entire single shadow collection and tried to dupe not only the colors, but also the textures of the shadows as best as I possibly could. So before we go ahead and do swatches of each shade side by side, I do have both of these quads on my eyes today. I'd be so curious if you can guess which side is the Pat McGrath side and which side is some indie singles. So let's go ahead and jump on into that application. I already went ahead and just quickly threw a matte neutral shade in my crease, just something from the Cindy Grace Enduring Love palette. I'm gonna go ahead and put these on both eyes. I'm gonna go ahead and start off with this green shade in both of my little quads. Just picking up a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and tap that on the outer half of my lid. And I'm wiping off the brush in between each application. I'm going to dip into the blue shade, and I'm going to put that on the front half of my lid. Just going in with enough to where it's opaque. I feel like the blue and green is where these dupes are super close. I feel like you're not going to be able to tell right now which is which, but whenever we get to the purple and the gold, I think that's going to be a dead giveaway. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and take the purple shades, and I'm going to pop that on the outer half of the lower lash line. I'm going to go ahead and take both of the golds, and I'm popping that on the front half of the lower lash line. All right, so there's the difference in application. On this side is the Pat McGrath quad, and on this side is my little quad. I feel like I actually prefer this side more, but I would love to know if you were able to guess correctly. So now that you've seen how they both applied, let's go ahead and do these shades one by one. So the first shade in the Pat McGrath quad, I don't think that these have names, but the back actually says use without caution. Shade throwing and eye ecstasy may result with prolonged use. That's so funny. But this first shade here is like a metallic light gold. It's actually quite interesting. I had a hard time duping it because it's kind of like a yellowy gold, but it's just on the more muted side, and it's just a very interesting version of gold. So there's what that one looks like. It is a really beautiful shade. The shade that was closest in my collection to that is going to be Hercules from Sydney Grace Cosmetics, but to be fair, I don't own that many gold single shadows. It's so much easier for me to dupe colors than it is neutrals. So this one is a little bit more of like a brighter yellow, but they both have that like really metallic formula to them. So you can see, not perfect. This one's a little bit more bronzy, but also on the eyes, it's not like a super big difference. So now for the purple, this one definitely did surprise me. It's a very deep, rich, satiny purple. It feels really, really nice, but it also has a vibrancy to it at the same time. I think it's a really cool shade. I just wasn't expecting, there's just something about it color-wise. So the shade I duped it with is Dark Matter from Shade Beauty, which is another really nice, deep, satiny purple. This one has maybe a little bit less vibrancy to it. It's a little bit more black-based, but you can see pretty similar. And now let's talk about the blue and the green in these palettes, because I feel like those are the more special shades. I don't know if they're really Pat McGrath's special shades, because she has certain ones that are like supposed to be different than other ones. Like I said, I'm a newbie to Pat McGrath, but these are both like really beautiful shades, and they have more of like a dry, sparkly formula to them. So I did struggle to dupe them at first because I have a lot of colors that are similar, but finding the same type of dry, sparkly texture was a little bit harder. I would say very, very, very close is going to be Shingle Shadows from Kristen Lee Cosmetics. I do like them. I prefer them with a glitter glue or spraying my brush, which I didn't do today just for application's purpose. So let's go ahead and do the blue first, which actually I feel like the Kristen Lee blue is a little bit more intense on the eyes. I like the way it applied more. This one I had to build up quite a bit. So there's the Pat McGrath. And then from Kristen Lee, this is the shade Indulge. So there's what they look like. I guess the Kristen Lee one, looking at it now, has a little bit more of a like gray base to it, but I feel like they look very similar on the eyes. Right, now let's go ahead and do the green one, which is such a beautiful shade. This one's super sparkly, and it's kind of a duochrome as well. It has like kind of like a purpley base to it. The shade I duped that with is Kristen Lee Triumph, and these two are very similar in my humble opinion. Look at that. If I'm being nitpicky, the Pat McGrath might be just a tiny bit of a brighter green, but overall you can see the base is the same, the sparkle is the same, the texture is the same, they feel the same, so I would say those are very, very spot on. And Kristen Lee has a lot of beautiful shades if you're looking for more in this kind of formula. So that is my little dupe. I'm gonna give my quick opinion, and that is that I don't really feel, just from trying this palette, that the Pat McGrath formula is worth the price. I just feel like if you like buying singles, there's a lot of formulas out there that are similar or better for less. This little quad, I believe, is $65. I personally wouldn't pay that much for this quad, but that's just my own opinion. So before I let you go, I wanted to do one more thing in this video really quickly, and that is to mention some single shadows from a Black-owned indie brand that I absolutely love, that has amazing, super special shades that I would personally recommend instead of the Pat McGrath. If the Pat McGrath is a little bit too dry for your liking or a little bit too expensive, I wanted to recommend an indie brand that I feel kills it when it comes to special shades. So the brand that I'm talking about is JD Glow Cosmetics. I have an entire video. It's a little bit older, but just going through all of my shadows from them, which I can link in the cards right here for you if you're interested. But I pulled out a few of my favorites to mention really quickly. They're the bigger pans here. They have amazing textures and duochromes. They're so beautiful. I think they're like $7.50 each or something like that. But they have coupons all the time. I've gotten a bunch of them for 40% off. The first one I have to mention here is Prismatic. I've mentioned this so many times because it's my favorite shade. It has like a chartreuse base with a blue shift to it. One of the prettiest single shadows ever. Like, look at that. You can't beat that. Then I have the shade Unexpected, which is kind of like a taupey purpley shade with a blue silver shift. Again, really, really beautiful. See the sparkle and the metallicness? I have the shade Anomaly, which is a really beautiful purple base with a blue shift to it. That one's not as sparkly, but it's still extremely metallic. We have this next shade, which is one of the prettiest shades. This is called Watermark, and it's a deep blue with the just unexplainable sparkliness. Like, it is so stunning. Like, this as a smoky eye, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. The way it catches the light is just it makes me so happy, okay? And then lastly, I wanted to mention Bora Bora. It's a beautiful blue-green, and it did remind me of the shade in the Pat McGrath quad, although the texture is not the exact same. I'll swatch one of the shades from Pat McGrath again, just compared to these ones. They are a great alternative, so I couldn't help but throw that into this video. Alright, so that's everything for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. Don't forget to check out Annette. I will have her channel and her video linked down below. And last but not least, I would love to know if you've tried Pat McGrath's eyeshadows. Did you feel like they were worth the price / worth the hype? I would be so curious to hear more opinions. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye.